What up, everybody? How y'all doing tonight? This is Drop Squad Live. Tune in. You tune in to right now. Excuse me. And yeah. What up, everybody? How y'all doing tonight? This is Drop Squad Live. Okay, so we're gonna do it like still figuring out how we use this medium of streaming the show live on the YouTube platform, as well as our original platform, which is the Zoom. Shout out to Zoom people for being around at this time in 2020, at a time where technology like this is very much needed. Anyway, as y'all know by now, tonight is Sunday night. So good show tonight. You know, we're gonna have it rocking. On Sundays, we more lenient, you know, it's than our Wednesday night show. Sunday nights, we usually rock out, you know, just talking about, you know, a whole lot of things. There's nothing in particular really on the table, usually on Sunday night for us. You know, people just, we allow our people, Moors, whether you're a declared Moor or an undeclared Moor. You know, I call people Moors, you know, because Black, to me, Black is a word that is very much a misnomer and used on us. There we go. There go my sister Faye. Hey, there she is.
Hey,
What up?
ladies.
Ah,
Hey, I
what-
do apologize for Wednesday, girl, but you know, yeah, I do have a little business on the side, so I be having
yeah,
to dip in
it's
and dip
all
out. You
yeah,
know, I take care of
yeah.
mom, and you know, today I didn't go over there. I'm gonna cook tonight for tomorrow, but
Uh-huh.
so I have my mic off most of the night, but I'll be here.
Okay, cool. You know, I know what the deal is with you and everything, and totally we here, we understand you, sis.
Yeah.
So it's all good. It's all good in the hood. Everything. I'm late my damn self right here. Just getting everything together. I got us up on, as you can see. I don't know if you can see it on your screen, but hopefully you can. I got the live, but it's on streaming live on YouTube as well, not just the
Oh,
Zoom.
okay.
Oh,
Okay, good.
it's all good. Yeah, I'm getting the hang of this whole thing and learning how to use it for us for the show, you know, for the show's advantage. So it's like a process, you know, we all works in progress, and we all learning how to move in this world and everything
That's
like that.
right.
So it's a process, you know,
It
but
is.
we get it done. We here, you know. So it's all good. All good.
Okay, well, I do thank you for, understanding
Oh
because
hell, girl, you
I
know it.
do. My intentions be to be here, but I'll be getting these calls and people calling me, and I just,
Yeah,
if I have to leave or if I'm tired, I always send a sign off for goodbye. But
yeah, yeah.
sometimes when the phone ring, I don't get a chance to,
Yeah,
do that.
it's all good, sis. Whatever you gotta do, you know, do it. You know, I try to make it known very well to everybody that here on the Drop Squad show, we is for our people, you know,
Right,
us
exactly.
more. That just as I was saying as you were coming in, I was saying of how I refer to us as Moors. I don't use the word black. I try not to use the word black anymore when describing or referring to one of us, because you know, whether or not other Moors undeclared know it or not, you know, to me, you still, that's what you are. You know, I'm not going to demean you or myself by calling either one of us a crayon color.
Mm-hmm.
It makes no sense. So that's all I was saying. To the people, letting it be known first and foremost as we get the show started. So
Exactly. It's just like if people understand that the
mhm.
pedigree,
Right.
about pedigrees and the scientific pedigrees, as a
Hmm.
pedigree, we are Moors. We
Right.
are different tribes,
Right.
of that pedigree,
Hmm.
like just like a bulldog
Yep.
or a sheepdog or,
A Yorkshire Terrier or
Yorkshire Terrier. All of these are different,
yeah.
species of tribe within the
Right.
canine,
Canine.
pedigree. You see what
Right.
I'm saying?
Hmm.
So we all not gonna have the same type of hair. We're not gonna all have the same, brownish skin. That skin tone comes in many different colors. The
Right.
hair texture comes in many different colors.
And I'm
You
learning
know.
that myself, that last one. I'm learning since I cut my hair for my birthday. I'm learning, but it's growing though. It's growing. The thing is, I can't, like, I was up last night, just watching TV, but I had my hand in my hair, like this, just feeling through it. You know how you have braids and you take braids out
Uh
and
huh.
your hair is like very curly, or like very, like, how do I put it, coily in a sense.
Uh huh.
That's how mine is. Me and my mother, we have the same type of hair texture, but I'm learning for myself now why my mom used to perm my hair, because I'm learning exactly what she was seeing when I was a young child. She started giving me perms, and I see why now. I understand her a little bit better on that, because now I'm, for the first time in my life, I'm really recognizing my hair texture and getting to know it, and learning about it. And it's helped me learn about, myself. But as far as the hair texture goes, mine is very coily, as they say. It's like, those old bed mattresses that used to
Right.
old
Exactly.
folks used to have with the beds, those
Uh
uncomfortable
huh.
bed strings in it.
Hmm. Right.
Yeah, those things.
Right. But you can manage that coil. Me and my mother have two separately
Mm-hmm.
different hair types. Hers is more wavy. Her hair
Mhm.
texture is extremely wavy. She don't
Right.
have any coils at
Uh-huh.
all. It lays, when she cuts her hair, lays flat to her head.
Yeah. And my
But
sister is, I believe.
But so we have just totally, different hair textures, but we can manage our coily hair with,
Uh-huh.
with water,
Right.
internally and externally, in the different types of oils. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of the, our ancestors, they had to bind their hair down. When you see
Right.
the so-called, that's where the so-called Native Americans got that from,
Right.
putting that twine on their hair to
Mm-hmm.
hold the braid down, because, once they plaited, it was long to
Yep.
keep it. They bonded with that string to keep it, to
Mm-hmm.
manage it.
Right.
So once we understand these things, and water, the foods we
Mm-hmm.
eat also will change the texture, help the texture of your hair. you
Oh
know
yeah.
uh
Yeah.
yeah, this poor food,
Mm-hmm.
our hair shouldn't be as dry as it is. Basically, it's
Really. Right.
already dry, but it shouldn't
Uh-huh.
be as dry as a lot of our hair is, and that causes the break. We think, oh, our hair is not growing. It does grow. You just
Right.
breaking it off because you don't know
Right.
how to maintain it.
Right. Because my mother, when I was a little girl, my mother used to stay on me about taking my medicine after I eat breakfast. When she used to drive, I remember vividly when she drove me to school when I was in elementary. Sometimes she would put my breakfast in a napkin and we drive on the way to school, even though school was just like not that far from our house and our neighborhood. It was just literally like right down the street. You know where
Mm.
Stagecoach and David O'Dowd is, because
Uh-huh.
you were in Little Rock with me. So anyway, I remember that as a little girl, my mom would make my breakfast for me and get me to school so I wouldn't be late. And she would always have my folic acid for my medicine that my sickle cell doctors had me. And I remember that it used to be penicillin, and then folic acid. So when I guess me taking the folic acid every day also contributed to my hair growth. Um, and I didn't really realize it, but now that I'm much older, I look back and I see, oh, that's what it was that was growing my hair. You know, not just the genetics that I have and the traits that I inherited from both her and my dad, because they both have good hair, real good hair textures and stuff. So growing up though, I've never known my mom with long hair. Her hair has always been short. But I realize now that since I did the big chop on myself, I look at my mom's hair, and I went up to her one night, a few nights ago, and just stood next to her while she was laying on the couch and just examined her head, because I was like, oh, okay, I get it from her, you know. Not that it was dry or anything, but I just noticed that the texture that she has is the same texture that genetically she passed on to me, whether she realized it or not. And then my father, God bless him, I remember before my father died in his older years, he used to comb and brush his hair. And I remember one time, my father was such a comedian, so goofy. He told me, he said, Willard, come here, come here. I said, what, Daddy? He said, feel my hair. Feel that right there. Feel that. Ain't that soft? Like a baby, is smooth and silky like a baby's bottom, ain't it? And I'm like, Daddy, because he was
Right.
right. It was smooth, you know. He had that hair, like, I guess when I was born, I think he still had his Jerry curl in. But as
Mhm.
I grew up, I guess it grew out. He grew out of wearing it as the Jerry curl or whatever. But his hair was always kind of oily and shiny all the time. I'm not sure if that was because he was putting anything in it or if it was just him how his hair grew naturally. Because some people have hair that grows naturally, but it be real oily sometimes when you touch it, you know. Or he could
Yeah.
have been putting in products. I don't know, but I just remember that from him.
Right. It's just acclimating back to our culture and under
Yep,
man, and the man know thyself, you know. It's
yep.
just getting back to understanding who we are as a people,
Hmm.
and even just managing our diet, what we're
Right.
supposed to be eating, you know, which also
Absolutely.
contributes to our skin, our hair,
Hmm.
even the ability to keep good eyesight. So
Right.
these things we got to just remember, you know, within the scriptures of the Bible, even
Hmm.
in the Quran, you know, there's certain things we should and should not eat.
Right.
And again, sis, I already just got a text from somebody that they'll be calling me. So if I have to dip out, you know
Eyes
that
on
I'm
still.
taking care of
Yeah.
business.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, thank you. I'm glad you telling me now. So, as we go throughout the show, I'll know what's up, and we go from there. So, thank you. I do appreciate that. Thank you very much. Keeping each other in the loop. You know. So yeah. When you get back, let me know when you're back, because I'm gonna trying to show you this picture. Let me know
I'm
if you can
I'm here,
see.
sweetie.
Oh, okay,
I'm
okay. Yeah, as you can see from this picture, I found this. I was up the other night just doing research on my own, and I came across I've learned that going to the website called Pinterest is better than Google Images or DuckDuckGo images sometimes, or whatever, search engine, because Pinterest, you can find so many photos that Google will not show you.
mm-hmm.
So I found this one. I had always seen these two people right
Those
here.
the last of the Tasmanians.
No, no, no. These are, they say, the Aztec children. Uh,
Oh, okay.
Maximo and Bartola, I believe. I wonder where that's in the Simpsons. That's where they got the names to name Bart Simpson, his given his name.
Well,
Bart.
you know, the quiet is kept. The Simpsons is supposed to be, Mars supposed to be, a sister.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Her hair, if you look at it, is kind of like his right here with the waves. Can you see him?
Uh-huh.
I think these are royal these are, from my understanding, the way I was searching the night before last or whatever, these are two of the last Aztec children of the um Aztec civilization, as you can see, And I thought that was interesting because what I found was they kept saying that these are the two last Aztec children. I was like, well, it looks from their clothes. I don't know what the full scope of the story is, but it seemed to me that they were saying, what I picked up is that these may be royalty that we're seeing, you know, because why would these white Europeans go out of their way to take these two kids and raise them up as circus attractions, or what they call them, amusement park, carnival, uh how they call them, carnival attractions or whatever, like they
Right.
with the circuses.
Right.
And that's something that we don't see on TV. All these Hollywood studios, if you know what I've noticed as being a screenwriter and filmmaker and a history buff, thanks to my father, as well as me studying history in school so much, you never see Hollywood talk about the fact that a lot of the way that they became rich and made money was by doing these things like exhibition shows, like making circuses and grabbing up all of the people that they could find that may be looking, appearance wise, very exotic to the eye,
Right.
like things that you've never seen before, like what they call quote unquote freak show attraction type of people,
Right.
like Elephant Man, for instance, or the giant people, giants,
Right.
um, all these different types of people, and they lump them into a show and call it a circus or a magic show presentation or whatever. But anyway, back to these two. I thought after reading what I read about them, it kept saying that these were the last Aztec children. And I said to myself, what if the real story of the actuality is that these are royal children? This is royalty,
Right.
because you're not just gonna go pick up kids just to be picking up kids and raising them for the hell of it. I don't give a damn who you are in life. That people are not just gonna, be adopting or abducting. Yeah, that's what it's called when you abducting and kidnapping people just for the sake of trying to be a good Samaritan, a good so-called Christian or whatever. You're not gonna do that. So I felt like, what they're not telling people, the real story is that these are potentially a prince and princess of the Aztec Empire civilization, you know, because they do have a very distinct look, and
Right.
and they match very much the paintings that you see when you go visit down in Mexico and Central America, and you go inside these old temples and you see the murals drawn all over the stone walls and things like that, artwork that has lasted for thousands of years, from the moment they were drawn up, and they still exist to this very day. You can look at them and those murals, and the people, when you look at the murals, you see that they had the exact same type of nose that these two people have right here, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm of the belief that they kidnapped these two Aztecs and raised them up to be circus, people, which is sad. But it goes on, and white people do this type of shit all the time to us, you know.
Yeah. They be The
Yeah,
Albion is special. I mean, his psychology is
it's
one.
unmatched.
It very well, as much though it is unmatched. But
Right.
the reason I respect them so much is because they have studied us
Mhm.
down to the microcosm of
Right.
our psychology. But
To
we
a T.
rarely we talk about theirs, but we don't study it, and that's what we need to start doing.
Right.
Try studying their psychology. How do you equate, the psychology of the Albion? They
Mm-hmm.
Egyptians,
Right.
and they believe that. That's
They
what's in
the
the books, and they take
Egyptians.
on, or they're the Native Americans.
Yeah.
I
How
met a
you can see
woman,
all of this?
right? It's their psychology. They,
Right.
they be like, well, you know, we as Moors, we never done anything,
Right.
and that's the, we never contribute because they have taken our place throughout history, and they
Right.
can't even comprehend that. How was you living in a hot climate like Egypt?
Mhm.
These is where you find melanated people.
Right.
These
And you
types
get
of
sun
climates are
out in the
where
desert.
melanated people dominate. South America, you just recently got down there. If the sun is kicking your ass like it is now, how did you all survive back then?
Right. You can
So
be up baking in the sun like dehydrated meat, like turning into beef jerky.
right.
You know? Um.
But you see on the thing that they're the Aztecs, they're the everything, they're
Mhm.
the Celtics, which
They
they
the
were not.
Hebrews, they the Israelite people, they descendants of Moses, Abraham, all these Moors, these dark people. Like,
You
huh?
know, and the reason that the people have changed, or their
Uh-huh.
color has changed, like to say for instance the Mexican, a lot
Right.
of them people don't even know they're Asians, first of all.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Thank
It
you.
is hilarious to me. You are
Right.
Asian, even the Native American. They
Right.
don't even realize, those who call themselves Native Americans. They
Mm-hmm.
don't even realize they're Eastern Asian. That's
Right.
what you are. You
Mm-hmm.
came over through the Bering Strait. You haven't
Right.
been here that long.
Right.
And so when you look at history and go farther back in history, yes,
Mm,
all of these people were melanated people.
right.
Invasions changed the phenotype or how they looked. Instead of being a dark brown, they're a brown skin. Instead of
Right.
having curly hair, now they got wavy hair. And these are the admixture, the children, you
Right.
know, but they not the original people.
Right. And and it's like I remember when I was in college at Euler, right, studying the filmmaking, I was in upstairs in the media room that all the communication students use to edit, they work and stuff. I was on a computer editing a video or doing some type of research for my documentary assignment. And I remember being in there one day and these people were having a conversation across from me, and somehow I just said, you know what, I can't concentrate in here. I'm gonna just save my progress and just try to finish it at home. And then I was just listening to him. And back then, at the time, I don't know if you remember it, there was this decision that was gonna have to be made coming up about internet and the government allowing, I guess, internet providers a certain amount of data to give customers. They were trying to basically cap cap off the I guess you would say how people use the internet, for recreational purposes or work purposes or whatever. And they were deciding whether or not they were going to allow companies to, like AT&T for instance, or Comcast, they were going to try to tell them whether or not they could try to go up in their prices and charge their customers these ridiculous amounts every month in their bill for internet service. It went from basically from like, remember in the early days when internet was just coming out and Comcast was now offering it. You pay $45 for the whole month and be on the internet all you want. Well, now up until this point I'm telling you about, it came down to these people trying to say that we should be allowed as the corporations to up the price and charge our customers whatever we want to charge them for this service, right? Anyway,
Uh-huh.
that conversation came up and I made that point about how they trying to basically suffocate people out here in the internet, especially us, my generation as millennials, because all we do is use technology and be on the internet all day every day. So basically what I'm explaining to you is these corporations were trying to discuss how to take advantage of the new generation, the millennials, and how we use technology and internet. Anyway, I told them about that because they didn't know, I don't think. So I told them about it. And somehow, some way, out of nowhere, one of the white girls that was in talking with them, she all of a sudden pops up this saying talking about how she was half Native American. Now, this is a white girl, and she trying to say that she's half Indian Native American and got so and so quarter of Cherokee or whatever. Everybody always like to say that they got Cherokee in their family or some shit, right? So she said that, and I was like, I just, I ain't say anything, didn't want to be rude, but my face, I had rolled my eyes and just subtly shook my head because I was like, God damn it. It's always one of these white girls always trying to say that they Indian. Like, how you gonna be descendant of the pilgrims and at the same time say that you also an Indian? It just never made sense. And it was such a normal like reaction, the reaction that I gave, because we grow up hearing about that all our lives, how these white folks love to say that they white, they European, and they got the law on their side already. Yet they'll go the extra mile to say, I'm also part Indian or so and so, or whatever tribe they try to name. And it's like, you know what? I'm sick of this game because that's what they do, and I just don't understand their logic. Like, which one is it? You can't be the villain and you can't be the protagonist in the story and the antagonist in the story. You know, it makes no sense. Which one is it? Pick a side and stick to it. You can't be straddling the fence talking about you white and you get white privilege wherever you go. You get without a doubt, your word is never questioned as a person, as a human being or mankind or whatever. It's never questioned. And then you got every advantage in the world as a perk and a privilege for you to do whatever you want because y'all are Caucasian white folks. However, we can't do that. We don't have the luxury of doing that. But with them,
Mm.
they just go with just on and on about, I'm 1/16 this Native American tribe. Like, how? And what
Well,
makes and
it,
what makes you think that we care?
no, it's not about that. I mean,
Yeah.
they have to solidify their mythology.
Mm,
No one wants to be on the wrong side of history.
right.
And that's the reason why they pump slavery into
Mhm.
our children and into the school system. because
Right.
they want us to corner that market of slavery. So
Mm-hmm.
no one questioned their history of slavery. So they
Right.
can bury that part of their history and make somebody else, which is us, the ones who were the slaves.
Switching
So
place.
they just it's trading places, and
Right.
that's what they do. They play the trading places game.
Right.
You
Like the
know,
movie with Eddie Murphy, and who was the other guy? Eddie Murphy in that movie. Uh, Eddie Murphy. He did make a movie called Trading Places, right? Or am I
yeah, he
thinking?
made the movie Trading Places, and that's
Yeah.
telling you, when they was had the little experience, is it your environment that
Mm-hmm.
causes you to be what you are, or
Right.
your uh what was it, environment, or your education or your status. The
Right.
reason why his name was Valentine, the reason why Valentine was able
Uh-huh.
to transition, because it was already in him. He just never got the opportunity,
Right.
to express who he really was as an individual. He was
Right.
highly intelligent. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? It didn't take, it's his intelligence because of his environment. His environment did not dictate his intelligence.
Right. Right.
He was an
Right.
intelligent man, period. But he
Right.
was forced to participate in the environment because of lack of opportunity. But once he got the
Mhm.
opportunity, the root of him came out, who he was, which was an intelligent man. And
Right.
so Dan Aykroyd, strictly privileged. He
Mhm.
descended into the bellies of hell faster than
Yeah. The
you
belly of the
know
beast.
yeah, faster than anybody could have within a week.
Mhm.
He was just nothing. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? He had no skills, no survival skills, no anything.
Mhm.
Everything was always given to him. So someone had to teach him how to survive in the environment that he
Right.
was now thrusting in. And so
Mhm.
that just lets you know, your environment does plays a part in it, but who you are to the core,
Right.
and that's what Dan Aykroyd, he had a dark night of a
Akron, Dan
soul.
Akron. Thank you.
Right.
That's
He went through a dark night of the soul. He had to find out who he was. He had to become what he despised,
right.
which was
Right.
poor people. He
Right.
became what he despised.
Mhm.
And so, he had to learn about, fairness and fair judgment, and how
Mhm.
toxic his environment and sick his environment really was.
Right.
See, he didn't know that he was amongst liars and thieves and robbers. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And he
Right.
figured, he had to learn that he was a liar, a thief, and a robber, because that wasn't part of his psychology. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And he was one of the biggest liars, thieves, and robbers. But because of his privilege, he was considered a businessman.
Right.
But then once he failed and he had to look up to see what was really going on, he realized, oh, these mofos is liars, thieves, and robbers, and that's what I was. And he had to
Right.
make a choice. You
Right.
know. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had to pick a side. You can't just be straddling the fence, just breezing through life. You can't do that.
Well, that's what the Abion does now. The
Mhm.
average Abion, they consider what's going on in the world not their problem, which
Mhm.
becomes part of the problem,
Right. Absolutely.
which becomes part of the problem.
Mhm. It's a move.
But they're not going to say anything because that's going to cut into their job opportunities. They're not going to say anything because that's going to cut into whatever they got going on for themselves. And
Uh-huh.
I understand that as well. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Mhm.
I understand that when you have come from, in the end of the day, in the back of their mind, they have to know
Right.
that they ain't shit.
Right.
That it was, if it wasn't for standing on the necks of other people, they
Mhm.
couldn't be and do what they're doing.
Right. They wouldn't have a leg to stand on if it wasn't for us vouching for them. And that's exact. They need us in that sense, and that's why I try to explain to people about y'all thinking that every time, every 2 to 4 years pop up for these politicians that you got, it's your duty to go and vote for them, when it's not, we plan ourselves, because what our people fail to realize, didn't fake, is that, yo, that these politicians don't love you. They don't give a fuck about you, and y'all getting caught up in thinking that they do, just because they come to the hood and see you and hang out with you for like a week, just to appease you and win your votes over, win your cosign, decision. You know, you are what we fail to realize is that they have switched us and played us to the fact we don't even realize that we are handing over to them our rights, what they call it when you got your grandmother in the nursing home, and power of attorney thing.
Mm-hmm.
We in a power of attorney type of situation, because that's how politicians even exist. It's
Well,
like
the
wars.
thing that we forgot, and they done
Mhm.
tricked us, and even in that aspect of
Uh-huh.
politicians, everybody done forgot that these people are public servants.
Right.
Let's they supposed to be serving the public,
Right.
and we done lost the understanding is that we the people are supposed to be telling them what to do. They're supposed to be
Yep.
carrying out our wishes. However, they didn't got this idea that they the one running the show, and you a servant. Your title tells you what you are. You are a public servant.
Yeah.
You are eventually a slave to the public.
Right.
But
You are
for some reason, they didn't got this status above a doggone servant, and I don't understand. They walking around like the king when they a servant.
right.
So
Like,
then again, a trade in places situation.
right. And it's like they come to us, and this is the part that aggravates me the most, because our people really act like they just don't know what's going on. They don't know how the game work and how it goes. Like, after all these years, it ain't dawned on y'all that you got the power. It's the reason why they come to the black neighborhood. They come to the black churches when it's election time, because we have to give them consent to represent us, because what they're trying to appeal to us when they come to the hood is that they really want us to choose them to be our guardians, like we, children, like we taught.
That's again, that's the trading places
Uh-huh.
situation, and our lack of understanding, which I am currently learning. Our lack of understanding politics has gotten us into politics, and
Right.
so, like I said, the servant has tricked us, and then
Mm-hmm.
that he's the master and
Right.
he's the one with the authority.
Right.
That's some damn alchemy for your ass.
Right.
So that's a magic trick.
Right. Right. It
People
is.
are failing to see,
Right.
what's been happening and what's been going on, and until we start reading and learning civics and stop speculating and guessing, we're
Yup.
going to continue to be in this situation. That's one of the things about our people is that this is why they need guardians, because they're not most of us are not going to be versed in the everyday affairs. We came down here to pop lock and enjoy ourselves, and
Right.
that's why we put people in place to take care of the mundane of life,
Right.
in our affairs, and we forget that. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So these servants are running amok down here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And you know
they
what?
they they are running amok,
Right. And
and so
you know
you
what?
know.
How this even started? It started when King George III over in England started trusting someone that he shouldn't have. He started trusting his ward, George Washington, and sent him over here to do his work for him in
Exactly.
the United States. Because quiet as it's kept, you know, King George was related to the Moors over here as well as in Germany. You know,
Correct.
the Moors were
Exactly.
very,
Again, the servant running amok. The servant has ran amok.
yep.
And because we're not in our proper person,
Mm-hmm.
we have no standing in law to correct the situation until we correct our status.
Uh-huh.
So at the end of the day, people talking about paperwork don't mean nothing. You got to correct your status because they got you down as the slave.
Right. Right. They got their bread in so many words. They got their bread buttered by us.
So until you correct your status, be who you are, which is the ruler, the king, the sovereign, the one who is in control, because this is supposed to be a republic form of government. I don't know where they keep getting democracies from. Even when you say the Pledge of Allegiance, it tells you, you know, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic to which it stands, not democracy. It doesn't say anything about to the democracy which is there. It says to the republic. The
Right.
republic means that the people have the power.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, when people do not understand that, this is why we're in a situation, because they don't even know what form of government that's supposed to be over here. It's supposed to be a republic form of government.
Right.
You are the ones who make all the decisions.
Right.
But your slave is running around here, causing chaos.
Right.
And you don't know how to put your slave in place.
Right. Which is where when you look at it and you hear the story about how they say King George III, when he got up in age, he was losing it, mentally. When you really think about what caused it, it's the fact that he was pissed off at himself because he had trusted this guy, this castrated man, who had his penis, and balls chopped off, because that's what a eunuch is. He let George Washington be his, what they call, envoy. I think it's envoy or esquire or his squire, sending him over here to the Americas to handle his affairs. That's where the fuck up came in, because what he failed to realize was the resentment that this man must have harbored, quietly within himself so long. And so it's no wonder that when he comes to America, all hell break loose and he betrays King George, the third, and flips on him and starts a fucking war over here. And then tell him that, yo, I ain't coming back to England. Kiss my ass. I'm staying over here. And because I'm gonna be over here, I'm gonna flip it even further. I'm gonna have the men that you sent with me. We gonna take over this motherfucker. We gonna kill all of the Moors in charge over here, and then we gonna get it popping. And that's where the Revolutionary War started, and how and why it started. Because quiet as it is kept, this is the funny part. When you have history class, they never teach us the fact that this man, who had the same name as his master, by the way, they leave out the fact that this man betrayed his master, which was King George III, and he flipped a whole goddamn, what you call, a coup on the man, annexing him from his own land of territory that
Well,
he
I
had
mean,
under him.
well, they're not going to tell that side of the story because they got their own mythology going on, and
Right.
they're not gonna interject.
Mm-hmm.
This is their mythology.
Right.
And so when we understand what a mythology is and
Mm-hmm.
how it affects the people and why it has been such an intricate part of the Albion psychology, this
Mm-hmm.
this American dream is their mythology. And
Right.
they're not going to interject anything within that mythology that's going to make it seem like, uh, uh, they were the underdogs, or they, they weren't in this position.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So I mean, they're upholding their mythology.
Mm-hmm.
Our problem was we didn't uphold ours.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? We took on their mythology, and
Right.
that's why our psychology is messed up. That's why we're fragmented within ourselves, because in their mythology we don't see ourselves, and we're not supposed to.
Right. Right.
We're not supposed to see ourselves in their mythology. We keep
Right.
telling them, interject us in your mythology.
Right.
Interject us in
That's a seat at
no.
your table. Like,
Exactly. And we left our table to eat at this illusionary table, and the mythology that they gave that, for themselves is not even based on truth. So
right.
of course they gotta, fight to keep it together. Of course, their outrage toward us is not of hate. It
Mm,
stems from fear, because they don't want to look at the truth of their history,
right. They don't
and
want
I
to
don't
go back to
blame
the
them.
caves. They don't want to go back to the caves where we found them, and try to correct them from walking on all fours.
Okay, well, who want to look in the mirror
Mm-hmm.
and see that? No, they not, because this is why they can walk around and act like they shit don't stink, because their mythology says everything was created by them. They are the heroes. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? They saved everybody, which history tells us differently. History tells us they were liars and killers.
Natural history, yeah, and that's the part. Natural history is not accounted and taken for as worthy,
Right,
aspect. Look at things
right.
from.
So we're trying to break down their mythology instead of just
Mhm.
focusing on the history.
Right.
That part, this American dream and the revolution and the Boston Tea Party, that's all part of their mythology.
Uh-huh.
That's just it. That's what it is. It's their mythology for
It is
their
what it is.
psychology. That's
Yep.
why you don't see nobody but them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and this
Right.
is what they've been running on, and
Mm-hmm.
they are trying to defend this mythology because they don't want to look at natural history. They don't want to look at the truth. They want
Right.
to live in the mythology, the American dream. That's why they call it a dream.
Dream.
People thinking they calling it an American dream because you
Yeah.
can come to America and be whatever, and raise up to the top.
Right.
No, it's a dream because everything about how this country came about is based on a lie.
Right. It's not even natural. That's why it's a dream. Because it's not natural in the reality world, which we live truly in.
So now they're not going to talk about real history. No, because that the real history goes against their mythology, so they're
Mm,
not going to tell the truth.
right.
They can't incorporate that mythology. True mythology can be incorporated through history.
Right.
Their mythology is just a lie. And I
Right.
really shouldn't call it a mythology, because mythologies are based on truth.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? They created the damn story, a
Let's
script, a storyline.
let's call
You
it
know
what
what I'm
it is.
saying?
Let's call it what it is. Let's say they're illusion, because that's exactly what it is. It's an
You
illusion.
know, and it's falling apart beneath their feet. And
Mm-hmm.
then they done believed in this lie for so long, they don't even see, the collapse of it.
Right. Don't get it.
You
They
know,
just don't get it. This shit is melting
right
and
before
causing.
everybody's eyes, it
Right.
is melting. It is just falling apart right before everybody's eyes. It
Right.
is, and the thing about truth is you can only suppress it. you
Mm-hmm.
know but and people are always there are always going to be people throughout history who's going to carry the truth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're going
Right.
to keep the books. They ain't going to burn them. They're going to hide them. They're going to bury them. They're going
Right.
to pass down the truth. And this is how why we today, we know the truth, because there were Abions who won about their fuck shit lie, you
Right.
know, and there was, of course, our people who preserved it for us for a later time. And we
Right.
got to remember, the time, Noble Drew Ali, when he came, he wasn't even worried about the Moors because he said it was for the fourth, fifth, and sixth generation. He
Right.
understood that it was not time for this information. The time was not yet, but it was now.
Right. He understood that to do something, he understand which generation was going to be the one that had to come in and get to, you know, do the job of restoring order. You know, he
Exactly.
had enough sense to know that even living in his time in the early 1900s, he had enough sense to realize that this ain't going to be, this work that I'm doing is not going to really take uh, a solid place in his rightful place um in my generation. He had enough sense to realize that what I'm doing, my generation will not understand. But I'm not doing it for my generation. My work I'm doing for the future generations that will come and later be born into the world. And that's why I look at myself when I was born, you know, I was born late, but I understand now why Allah placed me in the year 1989 to be born from, because the foresight ahead would be by the time I'm 30, then I could effectively do my life purpose, my job that I'm sent down here for. Because it's not a hindsight thing, it's a future sight thing, you know, because Allah knew that by the time me and my peers get to be adults, that's when the shit is gonna really pop off and the war is gonna really truly begin. And look
Right. And this war
at
is really a war of the mind. It's a war between lie and truth. You
right.
know, but those who know the truth and has accepted the truth, and
Mhm.
those who want to continue to perpetuate a lie, and a lie is not going to be able to survive. We're
Right,
leaving the age of Aquarius, you
right.
know, I mean, excuse me, of Pisces, and we're entering into the age of Aquarius.
Mm-hmm.
And the age of Pisces is just, I believe, hell, they just believe the
Right.
energy for that age was able allow these lies to be incubated and birthed. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? People had lost the ability, and we keep forgetting because of the wars, because of death, because of this evil that was going on in the world during that time. A lot of people, a lot of scholars died. So
Right.
you had a lot of people who couldn't read,
Mm-hmm.
running around, a lot of uneducated people. It was
Illiterate.
easy to manipulate the minds of these people. They
Right.
had lost so many of their elders and their scientists and their priest class through war.
Mm-hmm.
With war, you don't attack the people.
Right.
When they went in there and with Gaddafi, they didn't attack the people. They killed the leader.
Mm-hmm. You cut
They
the
killed the
head.
people were in power. They
Mm-hmm.
killed the people who knew how to do the paperwork and all this and how to get the things popping.
Right.
That's who they target. They don't target the people. The people,
Right.
when once the leaders are gone, the people are just up for grabs.
Right. Right. And that's exactly what the hell happened to us. They killed Malcolm, they killed Martin, and look what happened to us once they did that. They killed the leaders that we, got behind as a military, type of force. They killed our generals. And what happened to the rest of the soldiers? They were easily grabbed up and manipulated, you know.
Right. And that's why the age of Aquarius promotes individuality. Now
Mhm.
everybody can be a leader. Now everybody can, the individuality is not dependent on a leader. Every man do as his heart say he should.
Right.
This is the age of Aquarius, okay?
Mhm. Yep.
This is the age of Aquarius now. So, you
Mhm.
know, we're no longer
Can you see what I got up on the screen for you?
uh-huh. I
Mm.
can't read it, but I can see it.
Okay, yeah.
And then yeah, and Big Daddy Saturn sitting there, and that's restriction because Saturn deal in the law, and
Mm-hmm.
within law, not policies, procedures, and ordinance,
The rules and everything.
made up shit. I'm talking about law.
Right.
Saturn deals in law, so
Mm-hmm.
that's a restriction there as within the law. So
Right.
you ain't finna just be coming up when Saturn take the reign again and
Right.
just be, you got your lies going on. He just don't, that energy just don't play like that.
It don't work like
Because it's
that.
gonna operate within the law.
Right.
Period.
Right.
It's no place for illusions. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Saturn only deals with concrete, things.
Right.
That's why he rules the earth sign. And with him co-ruling the air sign Aquarius,
Mhm.
there's gonna be some restrictions within these folks' lives.
Right. Right. Because
Who gotta come forth?
it's the planet of the Capricorn, and like you said, Capricorn is it deals with law. It deals with the truth and facts, and you ain't gonna just be doing things half-assed when Saturn is in the room, in the building. That it ain't working like that. Saturn ain't rocking like that.
Sure not.
So what I'm understanding, what me and you seem to be understanding, me and you because we talked about this when we first met, that we know something is coming, and that it's not going to be welcomed by everybody at first, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles, because people have been bred to believe, and being hard-headed is a new thing. It's the cool thing to do, to be a hard-headed person, you know and Aquarius is letting folks know, like, nah, son, it ain't working like that. You ain't getting a pass for being ignorant no more. That ain't gonna be an excuse that we rocking with now that I'm here. Lies and just being your most worst self ain't cutting it no more. Not with me. You gonna be real with me. Here.
Right.
That's exactly what we're witnessing at this moment in time. And the part that aggravate me, but it makes me laugh so much, Denise, is the fact that people don't understand why Donald Trump is in the office, because Allah knows that it's going to take a person to get people up off their ass, making them uncomfortable in order to do and correct things. Because look what's happened in this corona thing. Even though I believe it's a hoax, but on the flip side, I see the astrology within it. People should have always been, protective, when they serving people food. But it take a virus that really probably don't even exist to get y'all to start, taking life serious, for not just for yourself, but for other people as well. So I welcome what's happening and going on, because I've always believed that, yeah, you need to be washing your hands when you dealing with my food. If I come to you hungry, you know, I don't want somebody giving me food and they just got dirty hands, dirty fingernails, or just be breathing freely on your food. You don't know what's going on inside their body. They might be about to be, sick and don't really realize it. But a cold or the flu or pneumonia is setting up in their body, something that can make them sick, and potentially you and me sick if we come into them in a restaurant hungry to get some food. I've always believed that. And I remember my mother saying when she was a young woman, how you had to have a test, what they call a skin test or whatever, if you were going to be working in the food industry. And the fact that they have pretty much, done away with that for a couple of decades was so wild to me whenever I hear my mom, telling me about that. Because it's like, wow, you mean to tell me back in your day when you were a young woman, mama, they actually made health inspectors come into your restaurant, inspect the place, make sure that the workers is wearing their hairnets and what your gloves, and now a face mask. This is shit. What we see going on, Denise, the way I see it, this shit is long overdue shit. But it's also about time that motherfuckers start getting shit together and being clean people, So
Well, that's the first uh step to
mhm,
becoming godly, or becoming within your spirituality.
Right.
is being physically clean. You
Mm-hmm.
know, the external part, you know, the
Right.
washing of the hands and all of that. And, you
Right.
know, they had particular rituals that they did, you
Mm-hmm.
know, the bath houses and those things. So
Right.
that's the first step of becoming spiritual. And people don't think that just cleanliness is part of spirituality. You know,
Uh-huh.
this old saying, cleanliness is next to godliness. You
Godness.
start with the outside things and work yourself inward. So if we as Moors look at, you know, the perspective, like you said, of what's going on, and start looking at it as a negative and start looking at it as a positive. You
Right.
know, you know, the Bible tells us that God can use evil for good. You know, He can use things that we think are evil for our good. And
Right.
right now, a lot of things that are happening is for our good. Just like you said, people wearing masks when they fixing your food, you
Right.
know, having to be clean, having to continuously wash their hands, you know,
Mm-hmm.
making sure that these, you know, handling of the food is being more stricter when it comes to people. That's putting it in the minds of people to be more conscious about their surroundings, that
Right.
bacteria, germs, and viruses do exist
Right.
daily. Before the coronavirus, it was other viruses here that people were getting sick from. Thank you.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Bacteria take people out all the time, all day, every day. The
Mm-hmm.
hospital full of bacteria. We don't even see that the hospital, which we're not gonna get into the etymology of hospital and all of that, and
Mm-hmm.
that it's a military complex, but we're
Right.
gonna skip that part. But just the filthiest place on earth is a hospital.
Thank you.
You
Thank
know, people die from
you.
all kind of bacteria, staph infection, take people out. Then you go in there with some disease, you die of staph that you
Right.
got from the hospital.
Right.
So, you know, like you said, looking at these things, the washing of the hands or the you know, curling your face, being more conscious, because
Mm-hmm.
we keep forgetting about consciousness is also part of our spirituality. Just
Right.
being aware and having, you know, of things, that things do exist, bacteria exist, viruses exist, they
Right.
exist on your body naturally. You have to
Right.
clean your body, you have
Right.
to wash your hands, because
Right.
bacteria, these unseen microbes, are everywhere. We're breathing them.
Right.
You know, the
Thank.
air is not empty. You know, the
Mm-hmm.
air is full of things floating around in it that we just can't see because we are restricted through the seven bands of light. But there's
Right.
things floating around in the damn air
Mm-hmm.
every day, living, just kicking it,
Right.
that
Just
we're breathing.
mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's just being more, becoming more conscious, you know. Just
Right.
some people taking it to the extreme of fear, but that's the programming, you know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm understand, because they're not getting the right message,
Right.
period. And
Right.
so the fear has settled in, and now people have become fearful of their neighbor,
Right.
you know,
Right.
and fearful of even their
Just
family members. It's people right now riding in their car with mask on. And they the only person in there. Why you still got your mask on, boo boo?
right.
But this the psychology, because this is a psychological warfare. The new warfare is not going to be fought. People running around here buying these guns. They don't care about these guns, boo boo.
Right.
You get
Absolutely.
all the guns because they come through there with that frequency sound machine and
Woo.
blow your brain out. You what your
Shit.
gun gonna do?
Right. What they call them EMF devices,
Yeah.
magnetic field devices and shit. I've been telling people, like, everybody been talking about, oh, Trump gonna lead us into World War III one day. Like, no, boo boo, you already lived through World War III. We already did that. What the hell you think Reaganomics was all about? The drug war. You know, we did that in the 80s.
You know,
World
well,
War, World War V. We had World War VI going into World War VII now. Shit. And it ain't gonna be like folks thinking, like, we gotta get our guns before they take them. Motherfucker, this is a warfare that you ain't never faced before. This is technology is gonna be the shit that take you out. And it's
oh
gonna
yeah,
take you out easily because y'all are allowing these two robot bitches, Siri and what's the other one?
Alexa.
Alexa, just to be all up in your house, knowing your whole damn business.
Yeah.
These two bitches know your entire family. They overhearing everything you say in your house, even when you thinking that the damn thing is turned off.
Yeah,
Hell no.
we're not thinking. But then the end of the day of becoming a servant and raising your vibration. This
Mm-hmm.
this is the thing people don't understand about sovereignty. They
Mm-hmm.
think it's a part of anarchy. No.
Mm-hmm.
When you're sovereign, that means that you exist within self.
Right.
You don't need anything from the outside to sustain you.
Right.
That you then this is the age of Aquarius, the people, the air sign. Even they show that in the great TV
Mm-hmm.
series the Nickelodeon put on, well, the Avatar, the last
Yep.
airbender.
Yep.
If people haven't watched it, they really need to watch that, because one of the things about the Air Nation, and we're going into Aquarius, is
Mm-hmm.
the Air Nation, they were nomads and they were completely detached, and they were
Right.
the most spiritual of the nations, because they had the fire nation, the water nation, the earth nation, and the air nation.
Right.
And he was actually the last airbender.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just studying that and how they were all monks. Every
Mm-hmm.
last one of them were monks. So
Right.
they didn't have a governmental structure,
Right.
because each one of them ruled themselves
Right.
according to the law.
Right.
And breath was a very important thing within their society.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding the breath and controlling the breath, because spirit means breath.
Right.
Okay, people keep
Right.
forgetting that. So
Right.
if we don't look at the spiritual end of true spirituality, we've already what nothing is gonna work. The paperwork, the guns, you throw everything away if you not focusing your mind on spirituality. And this is one reason why Noble Drew Ali said this was a divine national
National
movement, and
movement.
people not getting the divine part.
Right.
You know, being able to control yourself.
Right.
Elijah Muhammad gave us part of it through the Nation of Islam. He didn't bring the national part, but he cleaned up the drug dealers. He cleaned up the prostitute. He
Mm-hmm.
taught them how to eat to live. He wrote a whole book that I suggest everybody need to read, called Eat to
Yes.
Live.
To live.
I need to read it, because I be growling out over here. Okay, well, my calling came through. I'll talk to you later.
All right, sweetie. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
All right. Bye bye.
All right. Yeah, y'all. We getting it in tonight. Our sister Faye. We thank her for coming in, coming through real quick for us. It's just like I said, just a easy breezy, Sunday night for us. We here. Um, let's see. We got what else we got to tell y'all. In the meantime, while we waiting for the rest of our guests on the show and my co-host to arrive, everybody, I'm gonna try to leave in the chat uh Facebook and our YouTube pages that we now have up and running right now. So let me get that in for y'all real quick as we uh go on. Let me get that going for us all. As you can see, the Drop Squad Live. That is our YouTube channel. And excuse me. Facebook page. Get that going. Same as well. Title should be at least Drop Squad Live, as you can see right here. No. Good. Yep. 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 like I said, our YouTube page for us. Here we go. Facebook Drop Squad. That is the name. That is the name of our pages. Y'all can look and find us. Yeah, so go ahead. Uh Go ahead, do what you gotta do on that. Find us and follow us. And yeah, thank you in advance for that. Got a feeling it's gonna be a great show tonight, y'all. I really do. We always have a good show. Um, I want to take the time to thank y'all that are out there who've been rocking with us and everything lately. We thank each and every last one of y'all, being supportive of us with the Drop Squad live show. As I always say before, we created this show for Moors, you know, for us as Moors and for our fellow other Moorish brothers and sisters, whether you're declared or whether you're undeclared at the moment. We built this for y'all, because we realize that there needs to be something out there for Moors. There needs to be a place for people, can come in and communicate with one another, um, as a Moorish being, as a Moorish person, because it's our birthright. And we are, like we said, we're in the age of Aquarius, and this is the age of knowing, and truth. We've been waiting for this time to manifest and come along for a long time now. And for those that are veterans in the game, like people I look up to, Asir the Duke of Tears being number one for me. And then you have other Taj Tariq Bey is another, C. Freeman L. Peace be upon him. Uh, who else? Cosmo L. Shout out to him. Read his books. Go to Amazon, support him. He's another Moor out here doing great work for us. Writing books and helping people understand who they truly are, which is so important and so much needed. Um, who's another Moor? Shout out to Phil Valentine. Just a whole plethora of people. There's so many people. Shango L. Um, who I'm told by a sister who just got off with this, Faye told us about. Shango L. He resides and is docile here in my state, in my city of here in Little Rock, Arkansas with me. Um, Hopefully I can get us to reach out to him and he be a guest. He'll be another one of our guests on the show. Oh, can't forget the other brother who we had the pleasure of getting um the night this past Wednesday night. The brother Sharif, Nine Feathers Bay. Shout out to him very much. He created for us the Moorish American travel document. Um, and if you go to our other show, which I'm still editing that, by the way, because 6 hours is a long time for a show to have and footage. So once I'm finished chopping all of that up and condensing it down to at least maybe an hour or 2 hours and a half or whatever, I'll re-upload it for everybody so it can be seen once again. But yeah, shout out to all of those Moors and even the Moors that I didn't get the name. Oh, shout out to Squirrelfoot. He's another Moor on Instagram. Jamal Abdullah Bay out in Rhode Island, our brother out there. Shout out to him. Personally, I don't know him. However, I do follow him as well as the other Moors that I've named on their social media pages from Instagram or be it Facebook. Yeah, those of y'all wondering, let me tell y'all what mine is. If y'all want to look me up on social media, my IG is Young Nostalgia. I also put that in the chat for everybody. You can find me, Wilhelmina C. Williams Bay. I've changed my name to the name that my father originally wanted me to be named, which is Wilhelmina. But you can call me Willa for short if you know me well enough. I'll allow that. But when it comes to being a Moor, I'm going by my Moorish name that I have declared under, which is the name that my father, like I said, my father wanted me to be named Wilhelmina. So, in honor of him, Allah rest his soul, peace be upon my father. Um, I now go by that name solely, you know, in dedication to him, but also, I wanted to, once I got myself together on and declared my nationality, I made the decision that, if I'm gonna do this, I want to have the name that my dad uh gave to me when I was born, being that he was a Moor and he taught me. He's the one that really from day one got me into knowledge of the Moors, being that he is from South Carolina in a town called 96, just outside of the city of Greenwood, South Carolina. It's not too far from Greenwood. But like I said, I changed my name in dedication to him because he is the one, like I said, he taught me everything that I know now about being a Moor. Before, it was something that was on social media when I was a child growing up, in the 90s. My father always instilled in me knowing who my family was. And not just knowing who my family is from his side, but understanding where we came from as a part of the family home state and hometown. And that place, like I said, is a place named 96 South Carolina, home of the Star Fort. And I say that home of the Star Fort because that's exactly what my father always called it, when he would speak to me about history and things, history related. My father was very much a self-taught history buff, as well as a military, soldier, for the United States Air Force. Um, I think that's one of the best things about my dad is that he was a military, he was an airman, and that he decided instead of just sticking around in the hometown, he said, I can't stick around here, mess around and marry marry someone, finding out that they're related to me, finding out they're one of my cousins. Which is how he explained it to me one day. He said I had to get out, couldn't stick around there because 96, as much as it is a small town, I guess you could say it's a town that's very much family oriented and populated. So everybody in town pretty much knows each other and knows and they know which family is which, down there. So that was one of the factors that got my dad, you know, out of out of the state, and he made the decision to go into the military because he wanted to see the world and, just get that experience as a young man. That every person, arrives at that moment where they need to get away from home and just go out and see the world. So I'm very much always glad that I can look back, and when I remember my father, I can always have these these moments I was taught by him to remember, in life. And I'm proud of the fact that it was not just my dad, but our entire family from his side um always participated in family reunions. We used to do that, and not like regular family reunions most people have where everybody just has one big barbecue in a park somewhere by a lake or whatever in the summertime, and everybody just comes out to the barbecue and just eats. No, my family, we would have reunions everywhere, across the states, because our family so huge. That's just how big our family was and still is, um but we they made the decision that if they're going to do reunions, it would be fun to do them in um random places every 2 years. They would have a drawing. Everybody would put their name in the state that they lived in the city or whatnot, and draw names, and whoever got picked the winner, they would be the one to have to plan and orchestrate the itinerary for the next reunion. So say like when we went to Houston one year, um we went down we were in Houston, Texas, and I remember for the activities that we had in our itinerary, one was to go to the NASA Space Museum, and another was, I believe, Six Flags, if I'm not mistaken, and things like that. And then once the 4th of July weekend came, because we always planned them around the 4th of July holiday, leading days leading up to the holiday, of course, that is. Um, and we'd have the big family dinner and then go out, watch the fireworks show, and just, yeah, go from there, just having fun around town. And those days I miss because they were such a blessing, and I look back on them now as I'm an adult, and I just really miss them, because we always had so much fun, just unbelievable fun just being with each other. So that was always a beautiful thing. And it would be close to, I guess, maybe 50 or 60 people that would come out in our family. Like I said, we were a very large family on my father's side. So yeah, I miss those days. Anyway, though, like I was saying, I changed my name to Wilhelmina because my father, that's what he wanted, but he got vetoed, voted out, voted against by my mom and my aunt, which is my mother's sister, one and only sister. Told him like, no, we're not gonna name her Wilhelmina. That's too long of a name. You're not gonna give this baby that name. You're not gonna do that to her. And then when she go to school, she have a hard time spelling it. They were just haters. But I've always loved that name more than Willa. I've always loved that. Thought it was more beautiful than Willa. But everybody else, I always thought Wilhelmina was like ugly or something. I don't know. Anyway, though, that's a great thing uh that I did once I decided to declare myself and get my life, back in order, on track, as encouraged, as needed. So it's always a beautiful thing. Anyway, let me pause for a second. We're gonna take a quick break in the recording process right here as I try to get in contact with the rest of the squad, my team, see where everybody's at, see what's going on, what's everybody up to, and yeah, I'll be right back. So, like I said, we're gonna pause this and take a little quick break, 5 minutes. All right, here we go. Shoot. How do I do that? All right. Whew. All right, y'all. Looks like we're gonna be just postponing tonight's show and just rain check it tonight and do it tomorrow night. I just been made aware that they got other stuff come up that they have to take care of. So yeah, all worked out for the best. Want to thank Sister Faye for being with us tonight. Coming in with this hollering at us and just checking in. And yeah, we're gonna rock out and yeah, see everybody tomorrow night, hopefully this time Monday. Looks like for my co-host. So yeah, it's been a great one. Gives me time to catch up on this latest Lovecraft Country. It's my new favorite TV show. So yeah. All right. So it all works out. As always, y'all, God bless everybody. Yeah, have a good night, y'all selves. Enjoy the night. We'll see y'all tomorrow. All right. Peace and love. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Always. Peace be upon you. Assalamu alaikum, salaikum salam, all that. Inshallah, we'll be tomorrow, this time. All right, tune in then. All right. Peace. Love y'all. We out.